So, welcome everyone to HPCA's Lunch and Learn, Unveiling the Wonders of Generative AI with ChatGPT. I'm Vicky Emerson. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Projecting Success, and I'll let Tallulah Carter-Kelly introduce herself.
Hi everyone, it's so nice to see you all today. I'm Tallulah, I'm Head of Technology and Data here at Projecting Success. So doing lots of creative and fun things with generative AI. And yeah, I think there'll be some nice sort of tips and tricks and good things for you to pick up in today's session. So all the exciting things going on in AI.
Right.
Amazing.
Thank you, you too.
Cool.
So before we get started, I'd just like to welcome everyone officially to this NHS ED&I in Project and Change Management Network, and this is a Lunch and Learn today. So as you have just been introduced to Vicky and Tallulah for today, they're both from Projecting Success. Vicky's been Chief Operating Officer, well, you are still, yeah, from Projecting Success, but has over 16 years experience in spearheading learning and development initiatives. And you've transformed your passion from data analytics and artificial intelligence into actionable strategies and operational excellence. So as Vicky said, today you'll be hearing about generative AI and ChatGPT. But before we get going with them, if everyone on here can just make sure that they have subscribed to the HPCA. My colleagues will put in something, the link in the chat, so that we can keep in contact with you, send you resources, and keep in touch with any updates and offers. So without further ado, let's go back to Vicky.
Okie dokie. So welcome everyone. Thank you very much for that, Christine. So just if you've ever been to one of Tallulah and I's AI adventures before, you'll know that we do just go through a little bit of housekeeping. It'll only take a few seconds. We do use an interactive tool called Slido. It can be really useful to get engagement and to network as well. Please feel free to use your emojis at pace. You can thumbs it, you can love it. Luckily, there's no thumbs down option, so that's the main thing. Right. So to start us off, while I undress from my avatar clothing, where are you calling from today? So where are you joining from? It'd be really interesting to know where you are all from.
Sorry, Vicky, did you want us to use the Slido or put it in the chat?
I've got a feeling that Vicky might have crashed. I think she may have crashed. Let me just drop her a little.
Anyway, should we ask people just to put it in the chat then?
Absolutely, yeah. Just whack it in the chat. So where we're joining from today, that would be amazing.
That's not great for AI, is it? AI crashing. That's probably
so typical, isn't it? It's typical tech.
Oh, it's coming in there.
Support. Leads. Nice to see you in the call, Marie. Hope you're well.
I'm good, thank you.
Gloucestershire. Lovely. Manchester. Terry. Nice to see you, Terry. Parliament. Lots of different locations. Love it. Glasgow. Wales. Our lovely Sam joining today. Hackney, London. Love it, Greg. Love it, Hackney. Fab, fab, fab. Right, let me just see if Vicky is okay. Let me just Sorry about this. It's sometimes Teams goes a bit mental.
Can you see me now?
Oh,
You hear
she's
me
back.
now?
Oh, welcome back.
Great.
It's the real Vicky.
The real Vicky as well. I do it.
Ta-da!
This is all done on. It's all done on purpose, guys. It's just done for effect. We've got a lot of light coming in, so let me. Sorry. Technology, eh? Don't have any of it. Don't have any of it. I do apologise to you all. We're back in the business. So I'm there just talking away, saying, "Oh, we've got somebody from Gloucestershire, we've got somebody from Leeds." And then I realised when I looked up that Tallulah's face is frozen, and I'd frozen. It was all over. So it's lovely to see you all from all these wonderful locations. We'll move on while my internet is clearly stable. So the topics, we're going to look at getting started with generative AI. So we're going to just get a quick feel for where you're all at with generative AI currently, and whether you're a beginner and a bit worried about it, or you're a little bit more experienced. There is something in this for all of you, hopefully. So I'm hoping, and it will be interactive and you can play along with us. So I'm hoping it'll be really, we're both hoping it'll be really nice and interactive. So different types of generative AI. We're going to do a little interactive demo, examples of what generative AI can actually do for you in your roles and your positions, and a Q&A at the end. Cool. So just to get a feel, have you started using generative AI in your work or personal life? And that could be, have you started using ChatGPT, Midjourney? Don't worry if all of these names are very weird to you completely. It's fine. That's why we're here. This incredible lunch and learn. Not at all. That's great. You're in great company. Beginner. Some people are using it on day-to-day tasks, regularly on day-to-day tasks. That'd be great to hear from you guys as well. So we've still got, we've got the, complete beginner, design my own AI models, and I'm here to crush you. There's always a few, believe it or not, on these AI adventures that are here to, in fact, crush us. That's great. So we've got 33% not at all, and another 33. Oh no, it's changing all along. So the winner is I'm a beginner, and then we've got some not at all. Some people are using it regularly, and then a few people are here to crush us, which is just lovely. Love it. Right, in typical AI adventure HPCA fashion, I want you to have a look around this. We're in a Lego healthcare centre. Don't ask me why. We just are. So I'd like you to have a little look around, and I'd like you to pop in the chat, how many generative AI tools can you spot in this image? And if you've come to AI adventures before, you'll know that this is the hardest one yet. I even got Liam having a look at it, and he was like, I can't see them all. I thought, yeah, brilliant. It's having the right effect. So how many? And you get extra points, you know what they are. Zero. I mean, that's a way to go. I could have actually done that. And in fact, that's a great idea. 7, Terry, fantastic. 6 from Christine. 7 from hello, Sam. Oh, we love you, Sam. 0, Jocelyn. 8. Could be 8. You never know. Could be 0. 6. This is a tricky one. This is a mixed bag, Tallulah. Mixed bag. 7. Oh, we've got Gary. Gary knows what he's doing. He could be the one here to crush us. He knows. Google Cloud. We've got Google, Claude, ChatGPT plus. About 4 more I don't know. Yeah, that's good. 6. So he might not be here to crush us after all. We'll find out who it is. Excellent. Fantastic. So, because I know we've got some beginners in the house, I am going to walk you through what we've got. So up in the top left corner, we've got OpenAI's ChatGPT. You'll see this symbol regularly for OpenAI. Then over in the right, we've got Microsoft Bing. I tried to do it like a little stained glass effect. It didn't really work, did it? But you know where I'm going with it. Google Bard in this lovely little picture in the right-hand corner. We've got Microsoft Copilot, which has just been launched. This is going to be really exciting. The developments are incredible. I even put something on my LinkedIn channel this morning. There's it's just come out, Microsoft Design Studio, and you can generate art for free. It's actually really good. I was playing around with it this morning while I was eating my Cocoa Pops. Midjourney AI art, so text to art. Playground AI. So for complete beginners, what ChatGPT does, it will help to generate text for you, and you'll get to have a good look at that today and all the other wonderful things that it can do. Microsoft Bing is it is now powered by OpenAI's GPT, and it also generates lots of text. It can help you to answer emails. It can help you deal with complex issues. And it's great as a search engine as well. It's a lot more powerful. Google Bard is all equally the same. So they're doing similar things in generative AI. Microsoft Copilot is literally going to be a complete 365-degree tool that you'll be able to use with your Microsoft applications and plug in generative AI, whether you're using Word, PowerPoint, Excel, all of that suite. So it's going to make it super strong and super effective. And you can even do the avatars like Tallulah and I and the team do, if you're not too scared by them. Midjourney is text to art. So you put in what you want a picture to look like, and it comes out with a picture, sometimes really badly and sometimes really great. This has all come from Midjourney. All of the images that we see today have come from Midjourney. And we've got Playground AI, which does the same thing. It's all text to art, and that is completely free. Midjourney you have to pay for, and the reason I like putting Playground AI in there is because it's free. And now you're going to have Microsoft Design, which again is going to be completely free, which only came out in the last sort of 24 hours, I believe. Oh, sorry, and not forgetting Claude is very much like ChatGPT and is really great at generating text, understanding complex topics and helping to break them down. It's a great little tool. So I always say to everyone on how to get started, because there's a big fear, can be a massive fear around generative AI and AI's capabilities. Am I going to lose my job and all those kind of things? And the answer is no. It's more of a case of just think about the time when people didn't have computers, and then computers come in and everyone starts to really like to engage with computers. There was the same fear then, and it just made their jobs and their lives so much better. And you know, there are lots of good governance and ethical considerations, but overall this really will help to enhance your role if managed correctly. And what I say to everybody that wants to get started, and Tallulah the same, as we say, use the stuff, try it out, have a play with it, use it in your personal life, you know, have a play with ChatGPT, Playground AI. You can use them for free, so you're not losing anything, and as long as you're not putting any proprietary data, so confidential information, into these tools, you'll be absolutely fine. So use them for free, and then eventually you may start to think to yourself, actually I want to design some of my own AI models. You may not, and that's fine, but the only way to know about something properly, and if it can help you, is to start using it. So I'm hoping by the end of this hour you will want to start to use it. And we've got our first avatar. I love it. So not going to read it word for word. I'm sure you'll get the copy of the video and the slides, but there are some amazing capabilities of generative AI, specifically ChatGPT, and I've just given you only a few of the capabilities. So it's great at summarization, so summarizing long texts, long PDFs, long documentation. It can summarize it and really make sense of it. It can give you consultation and coach you and give you insights. For Tallulah and I as teachers, it's very useful because it teaches us to then help to teach others. It's been extremely useful. And Tallulah's going to give you a little demo, but I won't steal her thunder. Data visualization, so you can actually now plug data in, as long as it's not your proprietary data. You can plug data into ChatGPT Plus, and you can actually start to run advanced data analytics on that data. It can clean the data, it can sort the data up for you, and then it can visualize it in graphs. It can parse documents, so it can extract data from, let's say, PDFs and put it into the ChatGPT Plus can put it into Word if you wanted it. It's very, very good. It can run text analysis, data extraction, again, summarization, and it can do a lot of automation prototyping. So if you've got a lot of emails every day and you want to figure out how you can automate them and filter them, this is going to give you a complete guide on how to do that. So it is really, really useful stuff. So are you ready to play along at home or at work or wherever you may be? Ready to have a go? Okay, so what I want you to do, you don't have to, it's useful if you've got a second screen because you'll be able to see the presentation, but then also see what I'm doing, and you'll be able to play along at home. So if you go to www.openai.com/ChatGPT, you'll be able to get started. Now, I appreciate that some of you may not have accounts with ChatGPT, and I'm not instigating. If you don't want an account with ChatGPT, please don't. But if you would like to give it a go, you know, no win, no foul. It's not going to do anything awful unless you put all, well, even if you put your personal data in, we just don't recommend it because it is used to train the model. So I can't emphasize that enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing this presentation, and I'm going to give you a few minutes to just create a quick account on ChatGPT. It should only take a minute or so. And remember, this is being recorded, so if you want to play along later, you can. And you should be presented when you go to that URL I've given you. There it is. You'll be presented with this screen here. So if you've already got a login, please feel free to log in, and I'll just quickly show you around. And if you've never had a login with OpenAI before, you just click here to try ChatGPT. So I will leave you to do that. And whilst people are doing that, I'll quickly have a talk to you about the next window that you come to. Some of the accounts, it may look a little bit different because I've got a ChatGPT Plus account, so mine might look a little bit different to yours, so don't panic. The key thing is we're going to end up in this place here in ChatGPT. But if you do see this is the developer area where you can actually start to develop your own AI agents, your AI assistants. But again, this is for beginners and upwards. So this is the area, you know, for later. But the main area we're focusing on today is the ChatGPT interface. Okie dokie. So if you're using a free account, you will only see ChatGPT 3.5. ChatGPT 4 is locked to the Plus and Enterprise memberships. Plus memberships around $20, and Enterprise is a little bit more for teams. However, I'm not a ChatGPT saleswoman. I'm just here to give you an idea on how you can get started. So please, for me, it's better to have a play around with it and see if it's useful to you rather than go full hog and pay for something that you don't know really what it's about, what it can do. So we'll stay in the 3.5 section. This area up here, you won't see this because this is a Google extension that I plugged in that's free, and it helps me with prompting. So it's a very nice free, and there's lots of them out there in these little extension tabs up here where it can sit in your ChatGPT user interface. And if you're not sure how to start talking to the GPT model, this is a great place to get started. So I can type that in. Can you please produce an output of the following guidelines as a letter? Just a very simple. So you may be interested in extensions. And if you are, we are doing another session on the 14th of December, I believe. So we'll be able to go through extensions a little bit more then. But back to ChatGPT. So we're in here. You should have a side menu. You won't see these necessarily because these are GPTs that I use and I've created. So these are GPTs that have been created in the developer area and then plugged in to ChatGPT. We can talk about that more in the next session if you're interested in that. But mainly you'll see all the history of your chats, which is really good. And you'll see that I've actually been doing some work around HPCA. Now, what you can do is if you want to change the titles of your GPTs, you can rename them, you can delete the chats. You can share your chats with other people, even in the free version, which is wonderful, so people can pick up where they left off. You'll see down here there's an actual, you can click on yourself and you can look at your plan, the GPTs that you're creating. You can customize instructions, and this is a wonderful feature even for free users, which I really love, where you can actually tell it where you're based, what you do for work, what your hobbies. Don't worry about it having this information. The reason it wants it is because it wants to know how you want it to be an assistant to you. So you'll see mine is blank, because as you can tell with all of my images, I'm a bit of a blank canvas. But the thing is what's really nice about, if you've got a particular job or a particular mission for your GPTs, you can give them customized instructions and they will do what you need them to do. And they'll be more consistent is where I'm getting at. So really useful stuff. You can also go to the settings, and you can change your themes to dark. I'm currently in dark, but you can change it to light. Lots of interesting things, only a few features, quite simple. You can enable plugins and advanced data analytics, but if you're on the free version, you'd have to pay for those features. Data control. So if you want to turn your data controls off, it can work with no memory. So it will delete the data after 30 days. So it won't be necessarily used to train the GPT model. So you can turn that off. But I find it interesting having it on because I'm able to go back through chats and things like that. So really useful stuff. So that's a little tour. And what you can do is you can get some ideas straight off the bat with ChatGPT and to plan a tour. And you can just start communicating with it, and you can see it's super quick, it's super intuitive, not difficult at all. So I do hope that quick flash demo has really helped you to get started, but we've got more for you. Right then, let's start this show again, shall we? Here we go. And obviously, as always, if you've got any questions at all, please pop them in the chat. We will have question time at the end, which Tallulah will be hosting, because I actually forgot that I'd got to go and get the kids this afternoon. It's a good job I know now. Too busy with AI and not focusing on the kids. Really bad. That's one of the limitations, I'd say, big one. So Gremlins, I went with Lego Gremlins, and pop in the chat for me, because I was giggling to myself, and I was thinking, is Gremlins, so Liam thinks that Gremlins is a Christmas movie. Now I don't see it as a Christmas movie, I just see it as Gremlins, but I don't know, do any of you out there think it is actually, you think Gremlins, you think Christmas? The Gremlins #1, I get that it's set at Christmas, but it's not Love Actually, is it? It's loads of horrible little beasts going around causing chaos. So there are some limitations. It can get brain fog. So even if you have given it customized instructions, which I've just shown you, it can forget. It's called catastrophic forgetting. So that's why it needs a human there to drive it. You and that together are really strong, but leave it on its own and it could go really haywire really quickly. It doesn't handle large data sets well yet, but with the partnership with Microsoft Copilot, it will start to handle much larger, bigger data. It can't do real-time automation yet, but the GPT store, like the old Apple store, I think in 2014 when that was launched, maybe 2004, I can't remember, but when the Apple Store launched, this is going to be like the GPT store, and Zapier is a big automation king. They've plugged in their own GPT, so you will be able to actually automate whilst using ChatGPT. So you'll be able to do like real-time emails, and it's going to be so much quicker. Everything's going to be so much quicker, so you can get lots more work done. How exciting is that? Lots and lots. It can't really do complex data visualization, so for anyone that's really good in Power BI, don't panic, you can't do it that well. It's just a nice complementary tool at the moment, I'm finding. It can't go that deep into the analysis, and sometimes it does get it wrong, so it does need you powering it to check that all the information it's giving you is accurate. Optical character recognition, it struggles with PDFs that have got images behind the text. I've played around with that a lot, and it does struggle with it. I think they're fixing it, but it's not great right now. Context understanding, sometimes it doesn't understand what you're really looking for, and people tend to give up. I was talking to my colleague over at the college the other week, and she was saying, I just gave up because it wasn't doing what I needed to do. Don't give up. Tell it precisely. Talk to it like a baby, like it's a child, and you're training that child. And then you're starting to thinking about like machine learning, because you're actually training your own model in ChatGPT to do exactly what you want it to do. And it doesn't work that well with unstructured data. It really likes structured, organized data, but it can clean data up quite well, which I really like. So that's a lot of me talking. I get it. So I'm going to hand over to Tallulah. He's going to give you some real-time examples of how it's benefited her productivity at work, so you can get to see it in real life. Okay.
Love it. Thank you, Vicky. I'm obsessed with all the blonde Lego figures. I just need them making for my desk. That needs to be the next thing. I need to make my own Lego figure. But yeah, so just before I sort of show you a little demo, I think it's really important to sort of pick up from what Vicky was saying, where this, for me anyway, for me personally, ChatGPT isn't a tool where I think, oh, you know, all my data analysis problems are solved and all my visuals are done and it's going to give me everything I need, a wave of a magic wand. It's not that. For me, I found the biggest benefit of ChatGPT being with my efficiency and productivity in some areas that were taking me a lot of time before using ChatGPT. So I'll go through a couple of examples of how I've used it, and then hopefully you can sort of start to pick up areas where you think, oh, actually, this task takes me a long time. Maybe I could use ChatGPT to help me out a bit. So let me just start by sharing my screen. And this is actually the free version of ChatGPT. So I actually haven't invested yet. I've been using the free version for many months now. I've sort of seen it change. I've seen it get better. I've seen it develop, which has been really, really nice actually to see how it's got better. But this is what the free version looks like. So I don't have any of the plugins or add-ons. This should be what you would see. I've also cleared all my conversations down the side because I let them build up and it just gets to a point where I'm like, I need to clean it up. So I only have one little conversation. And one of the things that I found that I was spending quite a lot of time on was CPD. So before, it was sort of taking me, I'd say half a day to a day to plan resources for CPD sessions. And because of my role as information security manager, one of the things I have to do regularly is data security CPD for the whole team. So just checking,
I was just going to say, yeah, it doesn't look like it's sharing.
Look, why is it not letting me? Let's have a look. Let me try it again and see if that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Woo. So this is what I'm talking about. You can see my screen now, which is helpful. So yeah, so the CPD was taking me a long time to plan, and I found that it was things like the questionnaires afterwards and the checking of the knowledge, and it was all those little things where it was taking me a long time to generate these surveys and these questionnaires and things like that. So what I have done is I've popped in a prompt into ChatGPT. So I've typed in the little box and I've said hello, because I feel like I always have to say hello and thank you and things like that with it. If the robots ever come for us, it knows that I'm a good one, a polite one. So I've put hello, I've conducted a CPD session on data security recently, where we discussed ISO 27001, GDPR, and data security best practices. Please, could you generate a 10-question multiple choice quiz with answers? It says for but it's supposed to be for me to send out to attendees to check their knowledge and understanding. Thank you. And what it does, which is really nice, is it generates you a 10-question, multiple choice quiz when it's marked off the answers with a little asterisk. So I can take that, I can even start to build this out. So if, for example, I thought, oh, they're quite good ones, but let's say, for example, I want a few more adding in there, I can then start to build on this prompt. So I can say, please, can you add an extra 5 questions in? Let's say thanks again. And what it will do is you can keep building that out. So what it's going to do is, again, just generate me 5 more additional questions that I can add into my quiz with the answers. So it's really nice that you can sort of start with a concept and start building it out to whatever you need it to be, really. I've also found, for me personally, that ChatGPT is great with planning sessions. So recently I have launched a new session, which is a Power BI training session. And I was thinking, you know, how would I fill my day? You know, what could we do? What's some sort of interesting and engaging tasks that we could do around Power BI? And ChatGPT has been great, because before, that session would have taken me probably a few days to really plan and get right. And with the support of ChatGPT, I can start to use ChatGPT to generate ideas, give me some inspiration for breakout room topics, or give me some inspiration for some activities we could do. And it's just been really helpful. And my session planning has literally gone from probably 3 days to half a day, really. And to me, it's just been the biggest, you know, it's been fantastic, because it's starting to save me so much time in the areas that were taking up quite a lot of time before. I've also found it really helpful for drafting emails and things like that. So obviously you can take out sort of your commercially sensitive or personal information before, and if you just need something refining a little bit, it's really good at that, or changing the tone. So maybe you need to speak about a subject that's quite negative. You can use ChatGPT to say sort of like, hey, I've got this, how do I change the tone to make it more positive? And it's just fantastic. So there's so many capabilities that are suitable really for everybody. And I think it's just, for me, the biggest thing is finding those barriers of tasks that are taking you a lot of time. And you know they're taking you a lot of time because you feel it when you're doing it. You're like, oh, this is very time consuming. It's starting to use AI to sort of support you to speed up those processes, even with things, you know, asking it how to do things and getting it to act as a tutor. It's so much more time saving. I mean, when I learned to program and things like that, they didn't have anything like this out there to help. And it would be, you know, me sat at my computer at like midnight, scrolling through pages and pages and pages of Google or forums to try and find the answer that I'm looking for. And now with ChatGPT, I don't have that problem. I don't have to trawl through 50 pages on Google to find an answer that's maybe sort of what I'm looking for, but still not quite right. I can actually just get all my answers from ChatGPT. So it is, if you want to think of it as almost like an optimized search engine, there is that capability as well, because you can really get the answers that you're looking for quite quickly, which is really nice. So that's sort of how I use it. Like I said, using the free one. So for me at the minute, that's working perfectly. I am getting big FOMO though at the minute, because I want to build my own. I feel like that's my next thing. But if you are starting off your journey, ChatGPT, the free one, is really nice to play around with. So yeah, hopefully that's given you a bit of inspo, and you can start to think about how you might use it in your roles. Or maybe if you do CPD, just pinch those tips and use them, because honestly, game changer. But yes, so hopefully you enjoyed that and picked up a couple of things from it.
Thank you, Tallulah. No, that was wicked. Thank you so much. In fact, I picked up some things from it. So we're learning all the time. No, thank you so much. Thank you. So just to back up Tallulah's points about how it can help you. And again, we're going to do a couple of bits here. So basically, this is in ChatGPT 4, but you could use the free version. I work in Healthcare Project Change Association in the UK. Here's some more information. I was wondering how AI and technology can support my role and for our users. So I took the role of actually working at HPCA and how it could help the users. And it visits the website and literally it gives you a plethora of ideas on how you can start to use AI and technology in association with HPCA. So it's starting to understand a lot more about what HPCA offers and how it can, and in the wider topics of how it can help you in project and change, ED&I, etc. And it comes up with so much, which I think is fantastic. And you can do that in the free version. That's not a problem. And it will know, it will be able to, even if you just put your, I find just putting your job description or actually listing your tasks within it, it will be able to help you. It will be able to help you massively and give you ideas and inspiration for free. So that's that one. And my surprises is I've actually built a HPC Care Project Expert. So I knocked this up. It's only young at the moment. It's a young little baby. But you can ask it questions like, tell me about HPCA's mission. And it talks about what HPCA does. So if you're thinking in your roles, what can it do to help me? You could start building your own GPTs. And you could build them for your organization or your department, and you don't have to share them with the public. This is completely private at the moment. No one can see this right now, apart from people that have the link that I can share with you if you're interested in having a play on the Plus accounts currently. I do believe when the store comes out that I'm thinking some of the GPTs will go to free, because I can't see why they wouldn't do that, but we're not there yet. But then I also go on to ask, can you give me some CPD tips, please? And for you could swap that out and say for your particular role title, and it just gives you a ridiculous amounts of ideas. It's a little bit jittery. I do apologise. Don't know why. Why is it doing this? There we go. Back in the room. Oh, technology. And the final sort of question I ask is, how can it help? How can HPCA help me in my role? And this GPT basically knows everything that I can find on HPCA. It knows everything about it. So even though it's a little bit glitchy today, it's the video that's glitchy, not the GPT. So do ignore. I don't know what's going on with the internet. However, it just gives you an idea of the capabilities. So if you are a ChatGPT Plus user or an enterprise user, you can start building your GPT, the chat into really simple to do. You don't have to be a coder. Lots of imagination is, but yeah, it is really great to give that a bash if you fancy it. And just think of the capabilities in your department and your organization. Actually having your own GPT to you, you can share with team members, or you can actually put it out there in the, you can even sell it if you want to. Okay, AI homework. For the session, I believe that the next session is going to be around the 14th of December, hopefully. Terry's created Tattoo Taylor, which he created, and I absolutely adore his GPT. Terry's been building some really wicked ones, so Terry's already there, which is amazing. And for the homework for the next session, I'm not going to ask you to make your own GPTs unless you really want to. You're more than welcome. But to get started with ChatGPT for free if you're not already there. List your job tasks, so your job role and your tasks, and give it some context and allow it to help you and give you some advice and guidance on how it can automate things and help you in your role and do all of those wonderful things. And then on the 14th, bring some examples. And we'd love to hear how you've been using it, because this is really going to help you to have more of a personal life, you know, to get rid of the mundane tasks so you can focus on the more important ones. So please do give it a go, and I'd love you to come back and show us some brilliant examples of how you've started to use it. It doesn't have to be world changing. Nothing we're really doing is earth shattering. It's just making everything a little bit more productive, a little quicker, and benefiting yourself and everyone else around you. I've even built a Santa GPT, and the kids, my stepkids, think they're talking to Santa, and it's just really, well, the real Santa's too busy. We all know this. So that's why I built the Santa GPT, and it's really, really cute. And there's just so much you can do, so much you can do. So I hope that's inspired everyone well enough for this first hour. What would you like to use generative AI for? Have you got any ideas yet of what you may want to use generative AI for? That's fine, Josephine. Lovely to see you. Any ideas? I think it sounds like you're just so blown away with how great this session is. My next tattoo, I'm actually thinking the same. Honestly, Tarek, I've had a go with it. It's really, really good. To create GPTs, well done. I love that. To help with streamlining tasks, absolutely. This is the place to be, even the free version, which I think's amazing. Any more? You can keep adding to this even when I move to the next part of it. So do feel free. But please remember to bring some examples. Terry, I want you to bring some examples of your tattoos. Terry will be covered by December. Be absolutely covered in tattoos, GPT tattoos. Suggesting risks and lessons learned for new projects based on previous project history. I really like that. Yeah, it can definitely do that.
I think Vicky might have frozen again. classic tech. But I love that one as well about bringing together complex information. I think that's a really, really valuable one, especially when you're dealing with data in lots of different places. I think having something like ChatGPT to sort of unify that data and give you ideas on lots of different data sources is really nice. And obviously we love automation. Anything automated is just game changer. Love it. So automate routine reporting, absolutely. And also I think with that sort of routine stuff, it's also really nice to use ChatGPT for keeping things consistent. So you might notice that, historically something was done one way and then you're trying to do it a new way. And actually, it can be really valuable to use ChatGPT to help you sort of streamline things, but also unify things. So make sure that, you're doing things the best way possible, and going forward, you can keep everything sort of nice and consistent. So yeah, loads of really good ideas there. I think so. Vicky's probably trying to jump back in as well. But what we could do, just while we wait for her, is sort of get started, I think, with the sort of Q&A now. So if you do have any questions that you're thinking of, whether it's something that's come up in the session or something that you're thinking about, it can be anything AI related. But yes, please fire away your questions in the chat, or pop your hand up. I'm sure we can unmute you to ask your question. Yeah, Terry, I love it. Ideas for slide decks and presentations. It is honestly that I think that's probably what I use ChatGPT the most for. Actually, I find that it really helps me, because sometimes I'm just like, I've got loads of ideas. I just want to get it all down, and it can be hard because it's just sort of like a big word vomit of just everything that I want to talk about. So it does help me with ideas and inspiration on structuring topics, activities, things like that. So yeah, I love that. Thanks, Terry. Let me see this other one. So Mark, are there any examples of trusts using ChatGPT or similar within project management transformation that the HPCA could collate and make available via its website? So with that one, I think it's a really interesting area to be in at the minute, because as you may have seen on LinkedIn, and what Vicky's been talking about earlier, is these sort of custom built GPT. So they're very, very new, and they do require the paid version to build. So I wouldn't be able to do it now because I use the free version. So I think, although I can't think of any off the top of my head, I know that Vicky's been sort of in the background building something for HPCA, so you can embed them onto the website. So essentially you can build your custom GPT, give it all the data that it needs, and then, you know, you can post that onto your website so people can actually interact and use that. Does that help answer that question, Mark? Just seen you popped your hand up, so let me try and unmute you. Look.
Oh yeah.
Hi,
Can you hear
Mark.
me?
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's perfect.
So I suppose what I was thinking is, are there any exactly, it might be this it's too early on in terms of using this across the NHS, but are there any examples of case studies where trusts are currently using it that the HPCA could share? Is what I'm kind of thinking. So I think I'd suggested one thing on the Slido app of using it. Potentially we'd store all our lessons learned on there, so in the new projects we could just say, this is what the project's about, what lessons learned from previous projects could you suggest ChatGPT, and it'll give us those. But I wondered if there's any organizations or trusts currently doing that, and if there isn't, that people are aware of, maybe the HPCA could put a call out for examples which could then be shared. And then my kind of second thought around that was whether those trusts that are using it have overcome any particular IG issues related to this. So we've talked about not sharing data, which I guess is an obvious thing in there, but the sharing of anything in relation to trust names, the NHS, those sorts of things, because I believe the data is not necessarily secure as it's on ChatGPT.
Yeah, so couple of things really off the top of my head. I can't think of any trusts at the minute, but because it's so new, I think this is going to be quite an emerging one. We'll probably see more case studies that we can go through in the next session. So me and Vicky can go away, do a bit of research and come back with some examples of how other people are using it. In terms of the data, it's a really interesting one with ChatGPT. So I always say avoid sort of personal, commercially sensitive data and things like that, unless you are using these sort of paid versions, or if you're using API tokens. So that's sort of what I would group in the paid for features of ChatGPT, because what that does is it doesn't use the data for training. So in the free version, anything that you're putting in, they are using that data to train the model. So whilst the free version is a bit sort of sketchy with what you can put in, with the custom GPTs, if you were building it, you can really sort of refine the parameters so that you are looking at knowledge from specific documents. So it could be, you know, you ingesting sort of historical lessons learnt, and sort of sanitizing that so that the model gives sort of clear results that don't contain any sort of personal information or things like that. So it definitely has those capabilities, which is really nice, I think.
Okay.
Right, let me move on to the next one. So how can you change the American spelling to English? Yeah, I know what you mean. That is a frustrating one. I'm not sure whether it has that capability at the minute. I would have to check with Vicky, because I just have to stay annoyed. I just can't change it. So sometimes what is best is popping it into sort of something like Word afterwards and doing a little thorough check with Grammarly and your spell checker. So it is very annoying, that one. But yeah, I don't know a way to change it, but I'll ask Vicky and we'll see if we can figure it out for the next session. Utilize ChatGPT for my own business, create literature and help with brochures. Yeah, so Terry, really nice examples there of how you're using it. And I think it's really nice for me as well to sort of pick up on these things, because, you know, it's a great tool for marketing and brochures and getting all that textual data together. So yeah, I love that example. Let's have a look. So once you've provided info to teach and train, such as writing, style, tone, etc., does it remember what is learned in future chats in a different window, or do I have to keep reteaching it in each window? So that's a really interesting one. So if you change the parameters like Vicky mentioned earlier, it saves those parameters for sort of all your conversations. So if you're someone who is using it in more of a, you know, let's say professional tone throughout, you can identify those in the settings parameters. However, it generally sort of sticks with, for each conversation, it learns what you like in that conversation. It keeps sort of repeating it. And then when you start a new conversation, it goes back to the beginning. So you can sort of start afresh. So there's pros and cons to it. I would recommend probably having to play around with the settings Vicky showed earlier, if you did want to sort of have sort of a more structured, not teaching it all the time, you know, approach and doing it that way. But yeah, hopefully that helps, Gary. No, thank you so much for joining, Sam. It's great to have you here. We miss you. Let's have a look. So so I've used practice ChatGPT. It uses comprehensive set of project docs. Yeah, so Praxis GPT is really, really good at especially project management and that domain, in terms of data and what it's ingested to give you the results. So yeah, love that example as well. Thank you, Sahel. Oh, thank you so much, Laura. I love it. And we love an avatar. Next time, yeah, that can be the addition to your homework. Everyone's got to have an avatar for next time. We can do all the funny emotes as well, because there's some good ones. There's some good ones. Oh, I love that, Mark. Yeah. Also, a little bypass. So ask it to give it in UK English. Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to be stealing that. So thank you. Love it. Brilliant, brilliant. I think that seems to be about it for the questions. But if you do think of anything in the meantime, then please feel free to sort of reach out to us or jot your questions down, and you can save them for the next session, where we'll be exploring in a bit more detail the world of not just ChatGPT, but everything sort of generative AI. So do make sure you log anything for the next session. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I hope you sort of picked up a few useful tips and tricks to get you started. And hopefully you're all excited to make an avatar. But that was brilliant. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Tallulah.